Okay, welcome back. We'll go ahead and resume the meeting. Our next item on the agenda, number 3, is public verbal comments. I'm going to go ahead and read this. This communication opportunity is included on the agenda of each regular board meeting so citizens can make suggestions or identify concerns about matters affecting the school district or request an item to be placed on a future agenda. The Jurupa Unified School District Board of Education encourages and invites the public to comment on items listed on its agenda or on matters within its subject jurisdiction. All questions to the board should be directed through the board president, and in order to help conduct the business of the board in an orderly fashion, we request that you read and follow the guidelines listed on the pink request to speak cards in the back. Public staff will not be responding to those opinions. The district's silence should not be mistaken for agreement, but simply to avoid legal entanglements and or to protect the privacy of situations that may involve lawsuits, employee discipline, or dismissal. Please be assured any serious allegations have been or will be investigated thoroughly. Any responses from the board will take place during board member comments. Do we have anybody who wants I don't have any pink cards up here. Is there anyone out in the audience who would like to speak? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and move on to item 4, administrative reports and written communications. Is this you?
No, it's
Paula?
presentation of 215-16 draft audit.
You just say Mrs. Ford.
This is
Mrs. Ford.
Yes, tonight we're bringing a draft of the audit report for 2015-16 to the board, and this is an information-only item. Normally, administration brings the audit report to the board in January. However, in anticipation of our upcoming CFD 15 bond issuance, we're providing a copy of the draft audit report to the board so that you're able to have an opportunity to review prior to the district releasing pertinent information that would be available during the bond sale. NIGO and NIGO, our auditors, will present the final report to the board in January for approval. So tonight's item is again just informational item, and a copy of the draft report is included in the board's backup materials.
And you got the next one.
right. No, not but still.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Other administrative reports and written communications. Mr. Duchamp.
There are none, President Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Duchamp. Now we'll move on to our action session items. Item A, approve and adopt routine action items by consent.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Mendez.
Second.
Second by Ms. Johnston. Call for the vote. We don't have to do comments for that one, do we? Questions or comments?
If there are any, they can, but
Okay.
no, not on consent.
They can pull them if they want.
Right, exactly.
Motion passes 5-0. Item B, certify the 2016-2017 first interim financial report. Mrs. Ford.
In December of each year, we bring our first interim financial report to the board for certification. This report provides an update of our current financial condition related to our 2016-17 budget, which was adopted by the board in June. The detailed first interim report is included in your backup materials. However, I'd like to highlight a few areas. With the passage of the state budget in July, the district has received less unrestricted revenue. It's due to a slight downward adjustment in the LCFF gap funding percentage, as well as a decrease in our projected average daily attendance. We did receive one-time outstanding mandate claim funding, but that also decreased based on our adjusted enrollment and our adjusted average daily attendance data. Since adopting the budget in June, expenditures have increased in the areas of salaries for personnel and personnel needs and supplies and services to support LCAP actions. The greatest expenditure increase is for the purchase of additional Chromebooks, which we will be doing in 16-17, and you'll see that on the agenda tonight. Additional restricted fund expenditures are expected due to the additional restricted funds received. So we received additional restricted funds such as the career technical education funds, and then we also have carryover funds that are restricted in nature, and they've been budgeted to be expended this year. We estimate our required unrestricted reserve to be $6.8 million, which will be 3% of our total expenditures. An additional $7.9 million has been set aside and assigned for LCFF and gap funding uncertainties, and $5.7 million is restricted reserve. Turning to the multi-year projection, you'll see our current estimated enrollment shows a decline of 61 students from our 2015-16 enrollment. And due to the ongoing development within the district, we have budgeted for a slight increase to enrollment each of the next 2 years, so in the out years. The increased STIRS and projected increase in PERS rates for 2017-18 and 2018-19 are included in the multi-year projections. Wages and health and welfare expenditures are budgeted as flat, but we have budgeted for step and column increases in the out years as well. Revenue is based on an unduplicated pupil count of 80.1%, and as a reminder, unduplicated pupils are free and reduced price meal students, our English learners, and our foster youth, and they can only be counted once, and which is why they're considered unduplicated. The gap funding rate assumption that you'll see in the multi-year projection and in the budget is 72.99% for 2017-18 and 40.36% for 2018-19. While the percentages seem higher, and they actually are higher percentages than what we've received in the past, as you recall, they're funding that percentage. They're funding is the percentage of the gap. So between when we're currently funded and where we'll be at when we're fully funded. So our gap keeps getting smaller, and actually we are approximately 97% funded now to full funding, and by 18-19 it's anticipated we're going to be at 99% of funding. So as the gap continues to get smaller, even though it's a larger percentage, we're actually getting less funds year over year. By mid-January, we will have the governor's proposed budget, and I will bring that information back to you, and that will include the proposal for the gap funding percentage for 17-18. If there's a change in the gap funding at that time, then we will make the adjustment to the out years, to the 17-18 and the 18-19 years, and then we would be bringing that back to the board at second interim. The district has a positive certification, and the multi-year projection indicates the district will have a balanced budget and be able to meet all of its financial obligations for all 3 years. Administration recommends that the board certify that the district will be able to meet its financial obligations for all 3 years.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second.
second by Mrs. Chard. Any other questions or comments for Mrs. Ford? Call for the vote. Is there 2 items on here or just one? Okay. Okay, it's always Robert.
I was gonna say that. It's gonna cut you a little slack.
Yeah, thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Mrs. Ford, there's another part of this one.
Yes, there is. The county requires the detail of all funds to be presented to the board as a supporting document. We fully expect that all other funds, besides outside of the general fund, to end the year with a balanced budget and positive fund balance and cash flow. Administration recommends that the board certify that the district will be able to maintain a balanced budget in all other funds.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second.
second by Ms. Ortega. Any other questions regarding this item? Call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item C, adopt resolution number 2017/43, resolution for expenditure of excess funds. Mrs. Ford.
As I mentioned in the last item, since the adoption of the 16-17 budget in June, the district has received additional revenues and incurred additional expenditures. Adjusting the revenue side of the budget requires the board adopt a resolution, so this really isn't excess funds. These are funds that we received additional revenues and the board must approve those. So unrestricted revenue decreased by $1,043,872, and restricted revenue increased by $1,577,742, for a total unrestricted and restricted general fund revenue increase of $533,870. Administration recommends that the board adopt resolution number 2007/43, resolution for expenditure of excess funds.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Chard,
Second.
second by Mr. Mendez. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Mendez?
I have a comment, Ms. Ford. I just always appreciate your explanation of the term excess funds within this context. It doesn't mean what we normally think that it means, so I always appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item D, award bid number 16-17-04 PD, Jurupa USD Parent Center. Dr. Hanson.
Yes, on October 20th and 27th, administration solicited bids for the new Parent Center project that will be located next to the district office. The scope of the work for this bid included site preparation that is required for the modular building to be installed. Because this is a multi-prime delivery system, various categories were bid. In this instance, it was 4 contractor categories. And on the 10th of November, the district accepted and opened bids for each individual category. A total of 23 bids were received and opened. And the category 30 project bid, which included 1 alternate, was the district decided not to accept. Those bid packages and the results are listed there, and this project will be funded through special reserve for capital outlay. This is not a Measure E funded project. This is funded through other resources. Administration recommends the city of the board award contracts for bid number 16-17-04 PD, Jurupa Unified School District Parent Center, to the lowest responsive bidders as listed there in the item.
Thank you, Dr. Hanson.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Mendez, second by Mrs. Chard. Any other questions or comments regarding this item? Call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item E, award of contract for Chromebooks to SigmaNet, Inc. Mrs. Ford.
Administration is requesting approval to award a contract to SigmaNet for the procurement, configuration, and delivery of 3,000 Chromebooks and related software. This purchase is the next phase of the district's Digital Gateway One-to-One initiative, and which is to provide a device to each student, and in this case, it'll be to our kindergarten and first grade students. Pricing is based on the request for proposal number 15-16-05TE that was awarded to SigmaNet by the board on March 14, 2016. The RFP, request for proposal, contained provisions that allowed us to purchase additional units at the same rate as what the original award was. And these units will actually stay in the classrooms, and there will be charging carts that we already have moved to those classrooms to be able to accommodate these devices, to charge the devices within the classrooms. The administration recommends the board award a contract for the purchase, configuration, and delivery of 3,000 Chromebooks to SigmaNet in the amount of $1,081,626.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mrs. Johnston,
Second?
second by Mr. Mendez. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I have a comment, Mr. President.
All right, Mr. Mendez.
Ms. Moreno, I appreciate you always making sure that we are in line with the LCD, the funding formula. Because one of the things that was stressed very much from the very beginning when it was being developed was that we link directly fundings and activities that related to those goals and objectives that we list under the LCAS. So thank you for the good job of doing that.
Any other questions? I have a quick question, Mrs. Ford. So these Chromebooks, do they have the same type of life cycle as the 2 through 12?
Yes, they're exactly the exact same Chromebooks. So they're the Dell Chromebook 11 touchscreen.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, so exact same ones, and those were the ones that were tested and were the most durable as well. So we wanted to make sure that we continued with those devices. They've done well for us in the classrooms.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have another question for Ms.
Okay.
Ford, if I may. Ms. Ford, so with this order, now every student once again will be having a Chromebook. Will every student now be having one? Now that this order will be submitted.
Correct. We'll have every kindergarten and 12th grade student with a Chromebook.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item F, approve new high school course, Agriculture, Earth, Space, and Science. Mr. Dabrowski.
Thank you. The board recently approved the Earth, Space, and Science new course, which replaces our geophysical science course and provides our students lab science A through G credit. This course is the same course, but for students who are in the agriculture pathway at either Rubidoux or Hoopa Valley High School. So the labs and the activities will be aligned with that pathway so that students will be able to receive that same A through G credit, but take it while maintaining and furthering their ag pathway status.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Chard,
Second?
second by Mr. Mendez. Any questions or comments? We call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item G, approved college readiness block grant. Mr. Dabrowski.
Thank you. The board reviewed this item at the last meeting. We're receiving $655,364 for the 17-18 and 18-19 school years to be spent at our high schools, and the goal is to increase the number of students who enroll in institutes of higher education and complete an undergraduate degree within 4 years. So tonight we're asking you to approve those actions that we plan to take. And they center in 4 different areas, one being to expand student mentoring support. So this is support for all students in the high school level. The second is to provide focused parent education and outreach, so to expand the knowledge base and capacity of our parents in helping their students to get to college. The third is to provide strategic support for students, and this is support specifically for students who are first-generation college students, which is many of our students. And then the fourth is professional development, which is the development for our counselors, for our teachers, for our career center clerks, to increase their ability to support our students in getting to college. So tonight we're asking you to approve our plan for the expenditure of those funds.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Mendez,
Second.
second by Ms. Ortega. Questions or comments?
Mr. Dabrowski, there will be statistics on how many students actually move up and go on to higher education in connection with the grant. Will we be evaluating that?
Absolutely. We do receive from the College Clearinghouse data about what percentage of our students enroll in and actually complete college degrees. So we will continue to receive that, and as part of the evaluation of the grant, we'll be taking a look at and looking to see if that number increases.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item H, adopt resolution number 2017/44, annual and 5-year reportable statutory school fees and the findings contained in the Government Code 66006 and 66001, annual and 5-year report for fiscal year 2015-2016. Mrs. Ford.
We bring this to the board each year under SB 1693. School districts are required to provide the board with an annual and 5-year report of the collection and expenditures of statutory school fees that we collected. These reports must be made public within 180 days at the end of the fiscal year. Administration has prepared the required report with the assistance of Cooperative Strategies. Mrs. Rachel Chang of Cooperative Strategies is present this evening to answer any questions, and the board has the supporting documents that have the full report and their backup materials. Administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2017/44, annual and 5-year reportable statutory school fees and findings contained in the Government Code 66006 and 66001, annual and 5-year reports for the fiscal year 2015-16.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Johnston,
Second.
second by Mrs. Chard. Any questions or comments? Okay, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Item I, adopt resolution number 2017/45, resolution of the Board of Education of Jurupa Unified School District establishing a debt issuance policy for future obligations of the school district and community facilities district of the school district. Mrs. Ford.
And this is a new compliance item. In with recently enacted legislation, SB 1029. The resolution before the board approves a debt policy related to future issuances of long-term debt. So those would be debt including, but not limited to bonds issued by the school district that are authorized pursuant to the Measure EE authorization, as well as special tax bonds issued by community facilities districts, which have been or will be formed by the school district pursuant to the Melrose Community Facilities District Act of 1982. SB 1029 requires local agencies within the state, such as the school district and community facilities districts of the school district, to establish and implement a formal policy governing the methods by which the internal controls over the issuance of debt obligations. Although we have internal controls and we've been following these policies, this is now a form. SB 1029 requires that there be a formal board-approved policy in this area. So this is nothing different than what we've been doing, but it is, again, a new, recently enacted legislation that we need to comply with. So administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2017/45, resolution of the Board of Education of Jurupa Unified School District establishing a debt issuance policy for future obligations of the school district and community facilities districts of the school district.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Johnston,
Second.
second by Mrs. Chard. Any questions or comments?
I have a question. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I'll ask anyway. Ms. Ford, is this in response to some districts in years past in which they passed encumbrances on the district that really put them in a bad situation in terms of having an overly excessive amount of debt?
Yeah, I think Mr. Beck could answer that. Mr. Brand Beck, he's from Nixon Peabody, he's our bond counsel, and he helped us develop the policy.
Thank you. I don't know if I posed the question correctly.
That's okay. I don't know if is this on or should I?
It's on. Yeah.
Thank you. So the policy is not directed at school districts necessarily or in response to anything with school districts. It is something that the state has put in for all state issuers that issue bonds. It is really to make sure that all state agencies, local agencies, school districts are essentially that they are following the correct policies when they issue debt and that they are taking into consideration the policy goals of the agency to which it applies. I don't know if that's responsive to your question, but that is the general idea behind the policy.
There was a time, where, at least from what I recall reading some time ago in the press, that agencies, including school districts, were overextending themselves into indebtedness through obligation into future bond issues and that nature, so that eventually it was pretty much next to impossible to eventually pay off that debt. Does that help clear the question a little bit?
Yeah.
And if I may just supplement what Grant was mentioning earlier. Again, my name is Rachel Chen from Cooperative Strategies, your financial advisor, and we work closely with Paula's Mrs. Ford's office and Mr. Beck's office to develop the debt policies. So, Mr. Mendez, I think your statement is absolutely correct. As everyone in the room now is probably aware, municipal finance have been under great scrutiny in recent years, and I think the from my personal understanding, the intentions behind the legislation is certainly targeted at some of the school districts or municipal issuers that have abused the issuance in the past. But then at the same time, on the qualitative side of things, we also know that in order to market your bonds effectively to achieve the lowest interest rates, rating agencies have to rate your bonds. At the same time, if you have a debt issuance policy that governs how your entity will issue and access debt or municipal issuances, that really helps the rating agencies see you as a responsible municipal issuer. So I think that serves both purposes. Obviously, there are the ones that are looking back and hopefully to correct some of the incorrectness we've seen in the industry, but then at the same time looking forward, hopefully setting the standards and help municipal issuers going forward.
Thank you very much, that was very helpful.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, call for the vote.
Can you do this during board member comments or something? Well, you could just do it before, because we had mentioned it before. Okay. So just by consensus, the board can do it. You have to have, I think, a member actually has to submit. Yeah.
Motion passes 5-0. Item J, adopt resolution number 2017/46, resolution of the Board of Education of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $70 million aggregate principal amount of Jurupa Unified School District general obligation bonds, 2014 election, 2017 Series B, and ordering certain actions in connection therewith. Mrs. Ford.
At the direction of staff, the district's financing team, including Cooperative Strategies, the district's financial advisor, Stiefel as underwriter, and Nixon Peabody as bond counsel, and James F. Anderson Law Firm as disclosure counsel have prepared documentation for the purpose of permitting the district to issue its general obligation bonds, Series B. The bonds will be issued pursuant to an authorization approved, and this was, again, the authorization was approved by more than 55% of eligible voters of the district at the November 2014 election. And the bonds will represent the second series of bonds issued under Measure EE. The proceeds of the bonds will be used for purposes including the financing or reimbursement of construction, the equipping, furnishing, and improvement of capital facilities as permitted in the official project list that the voters approved during the election. And the resolution this resolution approves the form of two additional documents: a contract of purchase between the district and the underwriter, under which the underwriter will agree to purchase all the bonds, and a preliminary official statement with attached continuing disclosure agreement and the disclosure document under which the underwriter will market the bonds. Administration recommends the board adopt resolution number 2017/46, resolution of the Board of Education of the Jurupa Unified School District authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $70 million in aggregate principal amount of Jurupa Unified School District's general obligation bonds, 2014 election, 2017 Series B, and ordering certain actions in connection therewith. So we are at this time preparing to issue our second series, Series B, of the general obligation bonds.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Char, second by Ms. Ortega. Any questions or comments? Okay, call for the vote. Oh, that was quick. Motion passes 5-0. I have one item that's not on the agenda, but it's not really a formal item. California School Board Association Delegates Assembly members. Mr. Mendez has served, I believe it's 3 terms now, right, Mr. Mendez?
Yes.
6 years, and he has notified us that he's not going to be running again, and I didn't know if you had someone that you might want to nominate, or anyone else may.
I would like to nominate you. You would be able to be interested in submitting your nomination. Great.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Mendez, and thank you for that. Anybody else interested? So I guess this is just a consent item, right, Mr. Deshawn?
Right.
Just, if all the board agrees, and I go ahead and fill out a biographical sketch and submit that by January 7th, and then to be voted on later on. Thank you. Okay, finally, board member comments. Item K. We'll start with you tonight, Mrs. Chard.
Okay, I want to congratulate all of our recognized winners, our employees. They mean a lot to the district. They're valuable, a valuable asset to any site they're at. And they make us proud, they make the schools proud, and I know they work hard. I've been a classified employee, and it's a difficult job to do, especially if you have family, if you're going to school. And I noticed this year that a lot of our winners are younger, a lot younger than they have been in the past, which means we've got a new group coming up, and they probably still are getting their education. So we wish them all the best. Wish Roberto good luck next year when we take him to the March Riverside County program as a representative. I also want to mention I went to CSBA convention in San Francisco. And there were a lot of really good sessions for us to go to. This is an opportunity for our board to learn a little more, pick up, and our administration, some of our cabinet members might also. It's a good thing for them to get updates on some of the stuff that maybe they're not quite up on, or they want clarification on, or to learn, just to listen and to hear how some other districts are doing things. Mr. Campos was there representing our district with the Golden Bell Award. We're very proud of that. Congratulations to him and his program. I also want to remind everyone, this is our last meeting this week. They're doing the canned food drive at all the sites, and make sure that you get your canned foods to the schools. I think before Wednesday, I believe they're picking them up Wednesday for the canned food drive. They also take clothing, and they take supplies such as bandages and soaps and hair products, things like that, which is a necessity that a lot of our families don't have or can't afford to buy as often as they might like to. So it's a good thing if we can donate some of those things to them also. I want to congratulate our new board member. Welcome, Ms. Ortega, to our board, and also our new president, Mr. Garcia, and clerk, Ms. Johnston, and the positions that you guys will be representing our board. Thank you for doing that. And thank you, Mr. Mendez, for the time you spent representing our board. Take a little vacation, maybe. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Chard. Mr. Mendez?
Thank you. I also would like to extend my personal congratulations to all the honorees here this evening, and also glad to have been able to also attend my final delegate assembly for California School Boards Association. I enjoyed the experience tremendously, learned a lot of the process, and was gratifying to be a part of the larger body to continue to promote and initiate programs that are the best interests of our students, our staff, and our districts in general in California. So it's been a very rewarding, satisfying 6 years, so thank you very much. It is also good to attend the sessions that not only combine the delegate assembly, but also the trade show and conference, which is what we attended in San Francisco this past week. And as Ms. Chard mentioned, it's really a great opportunity to receive an awful lot of information from the various sessions that we attend. And with so many of us attending, both from staff as well as from the board, it's even more valuable, more dynamic, because if only one or two people go, you don't have the dialogue and the exchange that's so valuable as the board and as in a governance team to really have. And so it's really fabulous to be able to attend a variety of sessions, much more than one or two people could do, and be able to interact and exchange ideas and information that we can all then bring back as a body back to the district and really make it that much better, hopefully, for all of us to do our jobs in a better way and more productive as the governance team. So that to me is very important. I want to also extend once again my congratulations to the staff that was involved in the development of the program that was honored with the Golden Bell Award this year again by CSBA. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the third year in a row that we have been honored with, by one of our programs. So this is not easy to come by. It really gets scrutinized, and we're very proud of that. And again, a tremendous appreciation for the staff that's involved in making sure that those are implemented in such high quality, in such high quality manner. And finally, I do also want to congratulate three of our board members here. Ms. Johnson for being our clerk, Mr. Garcia for taking on the presidency for the coming year, and of course Ms. Ortega for joining us. We welcome her to the team, and we look forward to her contributions and again continuing the wonderful work that the board has been doing in these last several years. Other than that, just happy holidays to all, and a happy New Year when we get to it soon enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendez. Ms. Ortega.
Well, I thank each and every one of you. We also attended the conference. We got a little bit sick. My sincere apologies for not being there 100%, but you all treated me very nicely, and I feel right at home and like a family. I also wanted to congratulate every individual that came up here and was recognized. I feel like it's very important for us to show our appreciation so that they're motivated to continue the amazing work that they're doing. Also, I want to thank Cheryl for serving our board exceptionally well. I understand that I have big shoes to fill, and I will do my best to do so, if I may. And I think that's about it.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega. Mrs. Johnston.
I thought that the staff receiving their awards tonight were very gracious. I know a few of them said they felt embarrassed, but they said it with a smile, so I know they really, appreciate it. And I told them, I said, well, at least you guys didn't run away from us. Like sometimes everyone's so nervous, they grab your hand and run away, and they don't look at you, and their hands are sweaty. So they really do appreciate it, and they feel good, but they're just a little embarrassed by it. So, but we need to tell them that we appreciate them. We know they work hard, because it is true that they spend the time and effort, and it takes a lot to be nice to a lot of people, a lot of parents sometimes too. It's not that easy dealing with the public every single day. And I did attend a tree lighting at the City Hall on Friday night. Wind blew so bad, and we got home and the lights were out. But we were lucky. The lights were not out on the street, but all around us. But all over the city, trees were down. It was really bad. Corona was really bad. So, and then Sunday we went to Country Village. Oh, I did go Saturday night, I think it was. Yes, Angel Sanchez had his adopted family parade, and I did go to the mayor's house, and we gave out cookies and cocoa. Gave them a break during the parade, and that was really fun. And Sunday, Country Village had a festival, and I went there. And so next year I'll go to the convention with you. I like to go every other year, so I try to give other people a chance and not spend too much money from the district of traveling. And but I know it's a good sharing time. I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with the board this year. I hope that we can be really good together, and we have been the length of time I've been on the board. We've done really good work, worked really well together. I'd like to see that continue. So, and Merry Christmas, and thanks for all the work that staff does. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, congratulations to all the award winners. It's really nice to see all their families out here, and for us to to recognize them and give them this forum to honor them. And a lot of things are going on this week and this month. The canned food drive, as Ms. Stark mentioned. The Children's Christmas Party, and I believe that's on the 17th of December, but they're taking a lot of donations and stuff at some of the stores. I think Kmart, True Value. So get involved in that. It serves a lot of great kids. I welcome Ms. Ortega, and we look forward to working with you on the board. And I think I think you said it just right. You have some big shoes to fill, and but we think you're up to it. So. Had an opportunity to go to Mission Bell this past weekend for their breakfast with Santa. That was really nice. Even though the power went out, they were still able to serve, I believe, about 200 parents and students. So it was a really great time. And the Golden Bell again. That's really awesome. The work that's been done in the district to continue getting that Golden Bell every year. And happy holidays to everybody. Be safe out there, and we'll see you back in January. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.